What's up, everybody? My name's Trey and welcome to another video. And I have something pretty special for you, especially if you're somebody looking to make money online, which is everybody, right? Because I'll actually be interviewing Andrew Giorgi, seven-figure entrepreneur, runs multiple dropshipping businesses, and now he has a Facebook marketplace dropshipping agency, which means he runs the entire process for you. All you have to do is make sure that you have the initial investment and you have enough capital to be able to run the business. But other than that, he's going to take care of everything. And in this video, he's actually going to be going through not only his story, what makes his agency different, and what are some of the results that you can expect to make. I'll also be going through some high and low level questions as if I was a potential client trying to hire his agency. Because if you don't know, you'll know shortly. A lot of agencies do not get results. So you want to make sure that you find one that can actually get you consistent. Keyword, consistent results with your actual store. But before we get into this video, if you are someone that's new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified every time I post a video. And with that being said, we don't even need an intro. Let's just get into the interview, baby.
But thank you so much, Andrew, for jumping on the call. How you doing today?
Man, you already know, man. I got the cold brew. It's how I start every day. Just a nice little drive by myself. I just kind of like to go through in the morning and just either I listen to good music, or B, I just kind of self-reflect, man. So morning's been good. Morning has been good, man. How about yourself?
It's doing all right. You always have to take time for yourself. Self-care is super important,
Yeah.
especially as you know, being an entrepreneur. I'm sure you're always busy. So taking some time to yourself and making sure that you're good is always super important.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. It's very underrated in the space.
So one thing that we're going to do in this actual interview that I have with Andrew, so we're going to have him, share his story, kind of tell you where he's coming from. So he's not your trust fund kid that, was
Definitely
gifted with
not.
a ton of money. But we're going to have him go through his story and kind of tell the process of what it takes and what it looks like to be an entrepreneur. You're going to have your fails and tribulations. Sometimes it's going to be really hard. Then we're going to get into what his service actually provides. And then I'm going to have some both high level and low level questions when it comes to what if you want to hire his service? What questions should you be asking a potential Facebook automation agency when it comes to hiring them and making sure that they can actually get you results? So if
Most
you could,
definitely.
Andrew, go ahead and tell
Yeah,
your
and one
story, man.
one thing I want to add to that real quick, man, if you don't mind, is what you should be asking any automation agency ever when you're going in, because these principles should be applying throughout all automation agencies: YouTube, Shopify, Amazon, Walmart. It doesn't matter what agency you're going in as. I just wanted to add that what we're going to discuss here and the questions that he's going to ask and the things that I'm going to tell you, you really need to look out for, should be blanketed across the board. And there are certain things that should always be there, and if they're not, it's not looking good. But we'll get into that, man. Dude, so listen, this is I'm going to short win this story because I could probably take it pretty long. But essentially, back in 2017, I was working at a regular job. I was doing heavy equipment operating, just operating like overhead cranes. And I thought that was going to be it. Like back then, I thought that making $25 an hour was super, super good money. And to some it may be, but I had bigger wants. I wanted to live a higher lifestyle, more luxurious, and 25 wasn't going to get me that. So, I started to read books and listen to Tai Lopez, 67 Steps. And I always had entrepreneurial tendencies. I just didn't know it yet. So my dad owned a printing business, like a printing service business. My dad passed away when I was 2. So if I would have had my father in my life, I definitely would have been exposed to entrepreneurship way faster, right? Because in high school, I was streaming. I was on the esports wave way before esports was even cool. I was trying to do that. So I had all these little tendencies that were entrepreneurial, but I didn't really know how to navigate that at all. So anyways, nonetheless, I graduated high school, went to college, dropped out of college my six weeks into my first month. It just wasn't for me. Again, I was trying to make YouTube content. Went to go work at this job and that my buddy got me into, my best friend. And so got in there, started realizing that the environment was not the best. And then once I got exposed to Tai Lopez, it was kind of like, it was a real big eye opener for me. Like it was a real big eye opener for me. So I was trying to get out of there. I ended up getting fired from that job in July of 2017. I'll never forget that. I'll always remember that. That's when I went full entrepreneur, because while I was in the midst of getting fired, like a month prior, my buddy who I don't really speak to him anymore, but he seen that he was making money just selling weed. And back in the day. And so I was like, I would hang out with him every now and then. And he's seen how, like, I was just like super bad, negative vibes all the time. And he's like, man, here, he gave me some for free. And he said, go flip this and start making extra money. So I started to do that. And I was well known around my town. So like people knew it grew quick. Right. So when I got fired, I was living in an apartment. This is all I had. Right. So we fast forward a little bit more. I ended up not being able to make enough money after a couple months of selling weed, just to move, like, I can't make enough to make ends meet. So I moved into my mom's apartment at the time. Then I moved to my grandparents' basement. So at 19 years old, moving out, 19, 20, you're living on your own, you're feeling great. And then you do more, and then you like really humble yourself when you go and live in your grandparents' basement. You know what I mean? Right. It's hard for a lot of people to swallow, because they feel like if they do that, then they can't go out and talk to people, because they're like, damn, weren't you just living on your own? And now you're out here living in your grandparents' basement. So anyways, nonetheless, so I did that, and I was still selling out. That may sound bad, but it is what it is. I was doing what I needed to do to build up some funds. I'm trying everything under the sun at this point too. Streaming video games, still making YouTube content around video games. Then I tried videography. Then I tried photography. Then I tried, I started working with my buddy who sold sneakers full time. This was his gig, And when I was back before I got fired, I told him, I'm like, bro, you should go balls in, like go all in. You can do it. So nonetheless, I did that. And, he was like, hey, listen, man, like, you need to get out of this. Like, and I knew I needed to, but he's like, you need to get out of this. So anyway, started working with him. I was still selling weed at the time, but I was making some excess money. Now, this is where the pivotal point in my life changes. So it was April of 2018. So from July of 2017 to April of 2018, I'm testing all the other shit I just told you and still didn't figure anything out. I didn't like any of it. My buddy who was selling sneakers, he was like, hey man, listen, we're going to go. I got to sell this guy some sneakers, and I'm going to take you with, because he wants to buy weed from you. And he sells on Amazon. I think you're going to really like this. He puts me onto private label. And when I learned what private label was from an outsider's 30,000 foot view, which is just buy in bulk, send in Amazon, sell it, rinse, repeat, recycle, I fell in love, because I was like, this is just like selling weed, but it's legal. I buy in bulk, I sell it, and then I go back and get more. That was addicting. That's why I got into selling so much, because it was super addicting to me. It was quick, it was easy, and the game was fire. And then on top of that, while I was trying to make more money, I'm like giving incentives. So like I'm telling my customers, hey, like if you refer somebody to me, I'll give you X for free. So, I'm doing these business minded things, but I'm not realizing it's really business at all, period. And I don't like to leave out that I was selling, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Period. Right. Like I wouldn't have met this dude. And so April 2018 to June 2018, I ordered the product, got it into Amazon, and then realized, holy shit, this is a lot harder than people make it out to be. Yep. So I didn't really do anything from, I would say, April to the 4th of July, right? 4th of July weekend. I was with this girl at the time, and she was telling me, like, I'll never forget this, man. She told me, she was like, hey, listen, you should probably start trying to find a real job now. And I was like, what do you mean? And we were driving, and I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, you're not doing anything. Like you're stuck in the same spot. You're just selling weed. You're not doing much. Like you got to go get a job. And I said, I'm telling you right now, I will never work a job in my life. Like that will never happen again. Lo and behold, I ended up leaving her 4th of July weekend. So I had my last set of fun on the 4th of July weekend, July 2018. After that, it was grind mode, 12 hours a day in my grandparents' basement, studying the skill of private label, learning everything, testing, rinse, repeat, and recycle. The only time I left my house was to eat and to make serves. That's literally it, because I was living in my grandparents' basement. So no one's coming there to buy anything from me, period. Right. So at the end of the day, that transformed everything, because I've always had the work ethic. I just needed to find the vehicle to do it. And that was with e-com. Now we'll fast forward in chunks here. July till September, I tried private label. I was profiting a couple $100, if that. I didn't have the capital and I didn't know how to build a brand. I'm so new to any of this. Building a brand is like, I'm just learning the platform still. So then from September until September of 2018 till February 2019, I sold books. December 2018 was my first 5-figure month in revenue selling books. I was hustling hard every day I had routes that I would run to the Goodwills, the bookstores, libraries, everything. My buddy who's been growing up with me since 3rd grade, lived across the street from my grandparents. I hired him and he would come with me to Indianapolis. So I was 2 hours away from me there and 2 hours back. We would hit all the Goodwills we could on the east and west side, or east and south. And then next week we'd hit west and north. And then on Thursdays, we would go to Lafayette, which is again another hour to 2 hour drive. Yep. And we would hit all the Purdue area schools. So I was going balls deep and it worked. I learned Amazon. That's where I built the skills of learning how to sell. I understood the platform. I understood the metrics. I understood Keepa. I understood those things. But I talked to my CPA and I was like, I started learning, which is something that I feel like a lot of people sleep on. I talked to my CPA. I said, hey, listen, I want to scale this business to do over $1 million in revenue. What's that going to look like back end? Like, what do I got to do? To just keep it short. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's a lot of labor and it's a lot of space. It requires a lot. I said, you know what? I don't want to do this. This doesn't look like something I want to do long-term, but there are people who do $1 million in revenue in this business. Don't get me wrong, 100%. But you just, you pick and choose what you want. Then from February 2019 till March, I tried online arbitrage. So if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's literally ordering stuff from Walmart, all these retail suppliers, getting it to your house, repackaging it, shipping it to Amazon and making a profit. That took too long. I didn't really like that at all. The shipping times are ridiculous. So then April of 2019, I found dropshipping. And now I was trying dropshipping and I learned another very, very important gem that people need to understand here, which is you can't do two things at once, especially when you don't got capital and you don't have resources. And so, but it's a lot of beginning entrepreneurs' mistakes. Like they want to take on as much as they can, but it's just not feasible. So I tried it, but it didn't go as well. I tried eBay dropshipping when I was in December, when I had my biggest month in books. Didn't really work out too well. So in April, I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy this course. By the way, for the first time buying a course, never bought a course. I had bad outlooks on courses. Didn't like them at all. As I feel like at least 75, 80% of people do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I said, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to go buy this course. So I spent the last amount of money I had buying this course for eBay dropshipping in April. In May was my first full month. I did 15 grand at a 20% profit margin. So that was not bad. And that was where I fell in love. Now it was dropshipping from here on out. We'll fast forward because this takes a long time, man, but we'll fast forward. I started doing Amazon in June, and June 2019 all the way until September 2019, I did around 330-ish, 350,000 in revenue at a 20% profit margin.
So is this when you transitioned from, so now are you drop shipping on the Amazon platform? Or are you still mixing in your books and things like that?
Yeah. So I stopped selling books in February. Gotcha. And I transitioned full-time Amazon in June. I had someone no longer in my life, but I had somebody who was in the e-commerce space. And he was like, listen, man, your account's fire. Like, we should drop ship on Amazon, and I didn't have the funds. I didn't even understand credit at this point. Right. Another big entrepreneur mistake at the rookie side. You don't understand credit. That's like, if I could give anybody any advice right now, go learn about credit before you even decide to start a business, because 100%. You'll understand why. Just go look up a credit and you'll see why it's beneficial.
So one question I do have. So what was the transition in terms of what did your work schedule look like? I mean, obviously you went from, hey, I'm running out, grabbing these books, bringing them back, packaging them up. Now you're drop shipping. Is everything spent on the computer, or what different skills did you learn? What kind of did you learn?
Dude, everything was on the computer at that point, which I loved because I didn't have to leave. I didn't have to, dude, that was a great thing that once I went into that route. The skills were more of learning how to find products. That's the business revenue driving aspect of the business right there. Like if you don't know how to find products, you're really not going to be able to make any revenue. You're not going to be able to grow a business. So the skills were learning how to, maneuver your way and find products that sell. And I understood Amazon. So I understood through selling books, I understood the platform. I understood how to tell what sells, what doesn't sell, what sells consistently, what doesn't sell consistently. It was books primed me. Like, you know how like when you prime a fucking lawnmower before you actually fucking turn it on,
time to go. Yep.
That was books for me. I was priming myself. And now dropshipping, when I transitioned full-time dropshipping, the skills were just, not only product, I would say building a team, because once you start doing a lot of revenue, you need to learn how to build a team around you. So you don't have to spend all day fulfilling orders, answering customer service questions and stuff like that. That was the biggest thing, which is what I do now. So that was the biggest transition, was learning how to build a team around you. And man, I spent a lot of time, a lot of money on employees that didn't work out. That was a huge lesson. But then I got burned by my business partner there. I lost 28 grand. And so then I was in the hole. Like, then I was like, I was in the hole. I'm still living in my grandparents' basement this time. It's now September 2019. So from September of 2019 to, I think it was March of 2020, right before the vid hit, I was doing wholesale, and I didn't really care for it. I'm not going to lie to you. But I wanted to try something else. That drop shipping kind of scared me in that aspect again, because of that experience. And so once the vid hit, bro, I was like, my suppliers are not, like, everything pretty much shut down. So like my wholesale business went real low. Like it went low. And so went back to drop shipping. And now I've been drop shipping ever since. Amazon, November 2020. Now fast forward, November 2020 was when I jumped into Walmart space. I did that until like April of 2021. And then Facebook, I learned about Facebook as well in November, December. From a mutual friend is how I actually found my business partner. And in November 2020, I was watching his live, and I seen my business partner on the live, and I'm like, yo, this dude, you can just tell when someone's not bullshitting, they know their shit. And so I instantly connected with him, hit him up, and I was like, yo, I like to strive all my relationships on value for value. Now, and that's one thing. Once you get value, don't offer people money. Like, offer people value for value, because that's going to be way more beneficial long run. And on top of that, establishing a relationship based on value for value rather than a transactional just goes a lot further. I'll just be very 100%. Honest there, So, and then fast forward now, I joined his service because he had started the service in March of 2021. And
let me stop you right there before. So big thing to understand. So you were a client of his before you were actually part of his business.
Yes,
right?
Most definitely. Yes.
And that's a huge thing, especially for most people to see, because obviously when people are skeptical about a service, the coolest thing you can understand is the people that are actually working in the agency, that are actually involved with the agency. If they've been clients first, they know firsthand experience what you can expect when you actually get in there. So it's not people telling you, hey, you're going to make $10,000 your first month. Well, hey, I was a client. These are what my results are. Like, sure, those numbers sound great, but we can actually look at what are some realistic expectations that you can possibly look at getting.
Yes. It was huge because I joined in March, and, I had known him since November. So I known him a couple months now. We're just kind of giving each other sauce. Like, I could tell you, and one thing I want to say to anybody who's like doing business, like, if you could tell somebody's a real deal, like they know what they're talking about, they offer real value, they line up with your morals, ethics, longevity, like all those things, like, don't be afraid to give them sauce. Right. Because if they align with you on morals, ethics, and longevity, I'm telling you right now, that relationship is going to be very valuable, like 100%. Very valuable. And another thing I want to say is, and a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand at the beginning, I didn't understand at the beginning, is knowledge gets your foot in the door, connections take you to millions. So 100%. Knowledge got me to get that connection, but that connection is what's taken me to make, now I'm about, in probably 4 or 5 months, I'm going to be making 6 figures a month in profit. So knowledge gets your foot in the door, and you got to prove yourself with the knowledge, because you got to execute to a certain level where you get respect, because you've been doing stuff that average people just don't do with the knowledge.
Exactly.
Connections take you to the next level. So value relationships more than you value knowledge at that point, because you don't need to go and grind for the knowledge. The connections and the resources that you have from relationships will get you the knowledge. So I wanted to say that. But yeah, and so again, I provided a skill. Like I had learned enough, and I provided a skill of operations. So when I built that Amazon dropshipping business with my old business partner from June of 2019 to September 2019, you know, running a 6-figure business requires a lot of back end. It requires you to be able to orchestrate a team, build infrastructure, systems, processes, and frameworks in order for you to run smoothly. I did all that, you know, even though I got burned and I was down and out. I was not at my lowest, but I was pretty pissed. Like it's my first time ever being burned, and it was for a decent chunk of change at the time for me. I still looked at the positive. So for about a couple of days, I sulked, and then I was like, you know what, dude, I just literally ran a 6-figure business, and I learned how to build infrastructure, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I loved being able to build a team and put everything together so that this runs like a smooth, well-oiled machine. And so, you know, when he approached me, my business partner, Jason, when he approached me in February of 2021, we were still boys at this point. No transactions between each other, just giving each other free game. He was like, hey man, listen, I want to start this automation service. I've been running he was running a couple friends and family members' accounts. He's like, but I want to take this to a new level. He's like, I know you're a god at building infrastructure. Can you help me? You know, what do I got to pay you? Now, mind you, I'd ran an Amazon automation service before. But once it started to get too crazy on Amazon, meaning like Amazon was suspending accounts for drop. I just didn't even want to do that to clients. I'm charging them 25, 20 grand. I'm not doing that to them. And then on top of that, like Walmart, I was wanting to start an agency for Walmart. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that based on everything that happened there. And that's another wormhole for another day. But I had experience running an automation service. So I knew what he was asking me, and I had years, and at this point I had over a year and 2 years of experience building teams, and I built my own, and I showed him my back-end infrastructure. And then, you know, cause he's like, you know, a lot of people say they do. And, you know, my business partner will always attest this. Like people will say they know and they have these skills, but like, I literally showed him my Slack channel. Like I showed him how my team really runs, you know, and how organized and orchestrated we are. And so, you know, at that point, he asked me, he was like, what do I got to pay you to help me with this? This was February of 2020. I said, listen, bro, you don't have to pay me nothing. Okay. Just teach me game on Facebook, and I want to buy a store. And he was like, all right, cool. Say less. Cause this man was ready to drop 5 figures for the knowledge. And so again, another gem for everybody who's watching, understand that like you have to have foresight, understand that one, I knew he was a great person. We aligned completely. And then two, the transactions, like me and him have made more money together than that 5-figure one-time paycheck would have ever made me. And I'm thinking passive income. So like, I'm like, okay, he can teach me a lot, but I can also just pay him because he's been on the platform for 2 years. I could just pay, you know what I mean? So taught him the game, helped him build up the team at the beginning. And then in March, I paid 20 stacks. And I got into the automation service as a client. Now, once that happened, I wasn't making good money from the service, and good money meaning like 2,000 plus on a consistent basis. Now, 20K was the 70-30 package. So March, April, May, June is when I started to make money. March, April, May was building up the account. Right. In June, I started to make, I think it was like 3,000 plus in overall profit. And now, again, I'm on a 70-30 split. So I'm taking 2K plus home from that every month. Right. I did that again in July and August, and I'm paying all my bills now. I'm still living super below means, and I'm paying all my bills to this service, and it feels great. I'm able to work on other things. I'm able to like not even having to worry essentially that, you know, about paying my regular bills. And so I'm like, all right, awesome. I said, this feels great. And I'm building my channel up, you know, I'm building my channel up. Still making content. I've been making content since I was doing books on my channel. So like people could see all of that. They could see the growth. Everything I just explained, you could see it. And I'm like, damn, okay. You know, like I want to help you because I want other people to experience this. This is great. Like I feel phenomenal. I want other people to experience this. So I approached him, hit him with a deal that, you know, I made sure he wasn't going to be able to say no to me on. And, now we work together. We've been working together since September of 2021. And yeah, the business has just gone exponential since. Like it was going like this and it just like hockey sticked. It's unreal now.
And that's huge, man. Huge congratulations. Because I think a lot of people get it confused when it comes to being an entrepreneur. It's not about making six figures a month in profit. Really, the stepping stones are, hey, can I make an extra $1,000? Hey, can I pay my rent? Hey, can I pay that car payment? And then it just continues to snowball and scale at that point in time. And obviously, from what you just explained, it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
3 years, bro. 3 years and like 3-4 years now. I'm going on my 4th year soon. And like, yeah, that was all, it all led up to that. You know, I knew I was going to get here at some point, but also one thing I want to just, sorry to cut you off. I just want to spit too is like, if you have the ambition, the drive and the work ethic, you'll get to whatever goal you want to get to. But I promise you, it's not the way you think it's going to happen. And you have to accept that, listen, I knew I'd make, you know, multiple 5 figures a month, but I didn't expect it to be this way. And so don't try to control so much on how you get there, because that will actually set you back further than it'll put you forward. If let things fall how they fall, always follow your gut, because at the end of the day, if I was going to try and sell books, like who knows where I'd be? I don't know. Like, you know, if I'm like, well, I'm doing so good here and I don't want to leave because I put so much time, effort and money into it. You know, the business has no emotions. Follow your gut. What you think is right, do it. And everything happens for a reason, man. So yeah, it takes years to get to this level. And all my people like around my town, because I leave here soon. I leave in May and it's February right now. And all my people are like friends or old friends and like people who follow me on either Instagram or in Snapchat. And they're like, damn, like I'm jealous, bro. I wish I could fucking do that. I wish I can leave and get out of here. I'm like, bro, you can, but I've been grinding my ass off for 3+ years.
For a very long time. Yeah.
For a very long time. And I failed a lot. And even before in when I was doing videography, like people who know me around here know that I've been doing shit that no one else is wanting to do and not caring about what people think, especially a junior in high school making YouTube content on Call of Duty. Like everybody clowned me like, dude, this dude's making content. And you know, you just, yeah, now they all want to do what I'm doing. Now they're all like, damn, let me learn, or damn, let me, you know, I want to get what you have. I want that much money a month. I want to go live in Florida. And I'm like, well, don't quit. Don't quit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now that you're part of the agency, so you're running it. So I guess what is your role with the agency? So are you the person actually managing the stores? Are you the marketing person? Like what kind of does your role look like with that?
Yeah. So I take care of all operations. So one thing I will say too, and this will answer your question as well, of course, but one thing I will say is when I found dropshipping and I found it and it was like my passion, you can't run the whole thing. Every business that does 7 figures or more, even multiple 6, you can't do it all. Look at the biggest companies in the world. They have a COO, they have a CFO, they have a CMO, and then they have the CEO. Okay. Right. So once I found that, it kind of fell into my lap of like, damn, I'm not as good as building up the revenue, but I'm really good at infrastructure. And I just so happened to have a YouTube channel that I've been working on since December of 2018 that is now paying dividends because it's a value prop to businesses to get their business and brand awareness. So to answer your question, I'm the COO and the CMO of the company. I handle all the operations inside and out, all infrastructure, processes, systems, frameworks that have to do with employees, hiring, training, vetting, all of that. Everything is done through me. That's my section. And then I also run all the content. So we don't run any paid ads. All we're doing is word of mouth and organic traffic. And all of our traffic comes through my YouTube content. And we're now branching out and doing a lot more for brand awareness, but I take care of that. I also handle all affiliations, all affiliate like relationships that have to do with partnerships, anything like that. I take care of, I manage, I handle, I go through and I'll vet the person out if they want to be an affiliate prior to even bringing them to Jason, and making sure it's worth our time. So I take care of those things. And Jason, like I said, he's the one who has been doing this for 2+ years now, dropshipping on Facebook. So he knows how to drive the revenue. He stays up to date on all of the policies changing, all that type of stuff. If we need to tweak our products, research strategy, we're going to tweak it. He's the one who's going to train, implement and put it into our managers. And it trickles down to the totem pole. And he handles that. And then client management on a day-to-day basis.
That's awesome, man. So when we're looking at the agency itself, so how many stores or how many client accounts are you actually running, like the agency right now?
A little over 60 now.
And then I'm assuming you only take in a certain amount of clients every single month, or like,
yes.
How does that process look like?
I only take 15 clients a month now. I think we were taking 10 up until January, and then infrastructure was solid enough to where we can bump it up to 15. And we will only take 15 clients per month until the beginning of Q3 of this year. The rest of Q1 and Q2 will be completely around business revenue, driving the business revenue up. There's some changes I've made in the infrastructure that benefit managers. And so, it's also a super long-term move infrastructure wise. So we have to put this in place in the month of March in order for us to scale long-term and consistently, and it won't have to change again as big as it is. The changes won't be as big. It'll be minor tweaks at that point, but yeah, 15 clients per month.
And that's huge, especially in my opinion. So when you're going to talk to an agency, if they say, hey, we accept everybody, that's the first red flag that I see. Because I don't care how big your agency or how big your company. Hey, if Nike has 1 billion orders, they're still going to have a problem fulfilling all those orders.
Yes.
So when you are talking to agencies and they say, hey, yeah, we might take on 20, 30, 100 clients every single month, they're most likely not going to be servicing each one of those to the best of their ability, just because it's just not possible.
Quality is probably lacking so hard in that service. It's disgusting, which is why Jason and I will not sacrifice quality over anything. Quality has to be there. There were changes made when we were doing 10 clients a month. There were changes made in the infrastructure to help grow revenue and grow client stores before we went to 15. And we seen the revenue go up on the back end we have a chart, we see it every day. So we seen that going up and we're like, all right, we made a good move. Right. Now the second month, okay, cool. It's still going up and we're looking to, do 20 to 30% more than we did last month. All right, cool. Let's start taking more. We could take 5 more clients at this point because now it's just going to build up and every store is different. So we can't expect this shit to just go through the moon. But yeah, at the end of the day, once we've seen those changes and the results from those changes that it yielded, we're like, all right, cool. Now we can take 5 more, which then brings now the set of issues that I'm dealing with. It's not really issues. It's just, listen, if we want to continue to grow on the up and up, I need to make these infrastructure changes. Yes. And and one thing that people need to understand in any business, not just on automation service, is that your infrastructure has to grow with your revenue and grow with your business growth in order for you to continue to grow gradually. One thing I learned from watching a lot of these automation services, and one in particular, I won't name the name, but he spit some real facts on his Instagram one day. And he said, I took so many clients in 1 month. I had to pause taking clients because my infrastructure couldn't handle it. And once I heard that, I said, I'm never letting that happen to whoever I'm a part of ever, ever. So that's why we're so patient because, dude, we're getting clients great results. Jason and I are making great money. I don't need to rush it. I want to continue to provide quality, man. That's the game here. Cause that's what I feel like no one else is really doing. They're not providing quality. They're cash grabbing everything and they can really make a business out of this for the next 5 years especially on Facebook.
Right.
They're not grasping that. Like if you're just patient for a year and build this right, you'll be able to take 30 clients a month and make whatever you want to make and still provide an amazing quality service that is built foundationally well and gets clients consistent results. You know what I mean? So people don't, but I could see why. I mean, Jesus, when the money starts rolling in, bro, people don't want to stop, but you got to separate yourself and think in 2 years, I could be making 5 times this if I just do this right. And my clients are going to be winning. That's the thing. If your clients aren't winning, no one's going to fucking join your service.
So let me ask you this. So, I mean, you're obviously a little biased because you're actually a part of a Facebook marketplace agency. But
yes.
What made you really pick that platform specifically? Now I'm going to have more videos breaking down Amazon, eBay, all the different types of drop shipping you can do. But in your opinion, being somebody that started with, getting physical books and selling them or sending them into Amazon yourself, like what did that transition look like? And why do you like the Facebook marketplace platform so much more?
It's a really good question. And I know that some people like yourself and others and watch think it's biased, but I'm just going to, it is biased, but I'm going to lay the facts out to where bias doesn't even matter at this point.
Gotcha.
Amazon and Walmart have a terms of service in their agreement stating you cannot dropship on their platforms from third-party suppliers like Walmart if you're on Amazon, or Amazon if you're on Walmart, or Home Depot if you're on both. Facebook has no dropshipping policy. You can do
Which
it.
is huge, guys, because yes, you can still make a ton of money on Amazon.
100%.
Just know you run the risk of at any point in time, your account getting suspended, you getting shut down. The worst case scenario, I mean, they could actually sue you if they really wanted to.
You can play cat and mouse, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's why it's the biggest. And I love getting on. I love being able to sleep at night knowing, damn, I really hope my client's account does not get hit with a suspension. Like, and then that's a whole headache to deal with. You know, we deal with suspensions on Facebook, but it's due to suspicious activity for whatever reasons those are, which we found out a way to mitigate. A lot. It still happens, but it's very, very, very rare that it happens at a consistent level like it was prior. But yeah, and we get them back within 24 to 72 hours. Like, it doesn't take that long to get those back. Any suspension on Facebook for that matter. So yeah, that's the reason. That's the whole reason why. Because I love drop shipping, but I got to do it on a platform that I know is consistently long term.
And especially one that actually allows you to do it on their platform. And
one thing I want to say is another question that a lot of people ask in the potential, in like the qualification calls, is like, how long do you see this happening? And that's a great question, because this is my answer to this is, listen, Amazon and Walmart are solely marketplace platforms. Exactly. Facebook is a octopus, dude. They run ads. They have a streaming service, gaming. They have a regular social media. They have mini games on their platform. Remember Farmville? Everybody used to go crazy about. They still have all these games.
They have metaverse.
They're doing
all types of stuff.
They're trying to be the biggest, and they realize trying to be the biggest, they're going to fault in some areas. But I think that they also understand that, hey, these two other platforms who are our competitors, these two platforms in reality, they're screwing up and losing a lot of revenue. We're going to let them do this here, because now we're going to get billions of dollars in revenue from this. Right. And we're going to allow this to happen, because at the end of the day, we're not a marketplace like they are. We're not our own marketplace brand like that. You know, Walmart is solely based on that. If they start sharing market share with Amazon, it's really like, it's not a thing. You know what I mean? So it's not good for their business. But I don't think Facebook is going to do anything drop shipping policy wise, like any changes where maybe they say you can't do this. I don't think they'll do any of that. And if they did, we're at least 3-5 years out from that happening. There's so much going on that platform. It is disgusting. The last thing I think they're worrying about is whether people are getting stuff in an Amazon or Walmart box.
Exactly. Promoting other brands and things like that.
Yeah.
So now we'll jump into some questions. Like I said, both high level and low level. So like, let's say you are someone that's looking at going out like with your service, with your agency, just some of the questions that people might actually have. So you said you have a little over 60 stores. Now, what's the average store make after it's matured? And can you kind of go through that process of how long it takes to mature a store and things of that nature?
Yeah, of course. So it's marketplace is going to differ from shops. And so first I'll just say marketplace is a C2C, it's consumer to consumer. It's like a Craigslist. Shops is a B2C and business to consumer. And Facebook is going more towards B2C. They want to. It's going to be more professional on their end. Now, we'll talk ROI real quick, and then we'll talk actually, I could do it backwards. So for instance, an average store on a marketplace, it takes a little bit of time. Every store is different. Some stores go $1,000 to $2,000 in net profit their first month before the split. Others, like my store, it took 4 months for it to hit my $3,000 a month. And then I was doing consistent 3K ever since. Right. So I like to say after the third, fourth month on a marketplace, you can really start to take off and do consistent 3 to 4K. Now, on a marketplace, we are seeing our stores cap out generally at around 2,000 to 4,000, with the exception of stores like mine who have been drop shipping for over a year on there now, or about a year now. And I have so many reviews that people trust me. You know what I mean? I've got 900 plus, 1,000 plus. So those are the exceptions, right? So I did $4,500 in net profit in January. After the split, I took home $3,400. So, or 3,000 plus. So with those exceptions, 2 to 4K on a marketplace. Now, we will go ahead and also get you a shop, right? We want everybody, all of our clients to have a shop at this point. So with that being said, when you join with us, we'll run your marketplace until we get your shop open. Shops usually take 4 to 6 weeks to get opened. Okay. So that's really the time frame for shops. That's the difference between shops and marketplace. Marketplace, we're seeing stores cap out like I said, 2 to 4K net overall profit prior to the split. And then on top of that, on a shop, I mean, it varies, man. They just started to release the shops and like being able to sell as a shop consistently and really open in January of this year of 2022. So I mean, we had somebody, we started a decent amount of shops in January of 2022. So this year we had a shop we opened up on the 12th of January, and in 18 days, so at the end of the month, he ended up with $4,500 net prior to split. And he was on a 60-40. We had another person this month who started their shop who's at like 3.4K right now, and it's 17 days in. So, I mean, it varies. It's good, obviously. And I will say Facebook is favoring the shops because they want to promote the business to consumer. Right. And we've seen a decline in marketplaces. Unless you have really high reviews, we see a decline in marketplaces because they're pushing shops so hard. Just for instance, just to give you guys an example of how we know, and everything I'm telling you guys is all solely based off data. Like, we run enough stores. I'm speaking only from data at this point. None of this is theoretical. So we tested this in November when we ran our first shop ever. And again, if you were lucky, if you got to run a shop last year, it was not easy. And so we had a shop we put the same products on the shop as we did on her marketplace, right? And the marketplace only did like $1,100 in profit prior to the split. Her shop did 11.8K.
Which is huge.
It's disgusting. It shows the potential, and it's just night and day difference. Numbers don't lie on there. And that's not just with that shop. That's with other shops as well. Last month, the guy who did 4.5K in 18 days, his marketplace did less than $2,000 that month.
It's absolutely amazing. So we know that kind of income that you can look to see, but now how much is your service, or how much does the agency charge, or what does the split look like, and things of that nature?
Yeah. So we're actually I don't like to use the term the cheapest, but we are the lowest costing service out there. We offer 3 packages, 10K for 50-50 split. And if you don't have a shop, we're going to charge you $1,000 out of pocket to start the shop and open it for you and take care of all that back end. That takes a month to a month and a half. So we charge you $1,000 extra for that. So your initial investment's really $11K, 50-50 split. $15,000 package, 60-40 split, and you're going to get charged $500 so we can open your shop. 20K package, 70-30, no charge for the shop. Now, all packages have a ROI guarantee. You will always make your guarantee. You are literally in the contract. Section 13 is an ROI guarantee. You are going to make your money back. You're at least your initial investment.
Huge. Can you say that one more time so people can actually understand it? They have a guarantee in their contract. Go ahead. Tell them again.
Section 13 of the contract, you are guaranteed to make your initial investment back in the 12-month contract. We are the only service that offers a money-back guarantee. We are the only service that works solely on Facebook. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to keep it 100%. Every other service, we literally just signed a client up yesterday for March, because now we have a waiting list for February. We filled spots. So March has now got a waiting list. And I'm telling you right now, this father and daughter interviewed or went on with a couple other Facebook services. And they said, we love the fact that you only do Facebook. We love 100%. It. They signed up with 6 shops. They each had 3. They just signed up all 6 of them for us. On top of the money back guarantee, listen, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, you can't do 2 things or more at once as an entrepreneur. It just doesn't work. Right. So go with someone who is a master of one rather than a jack of all trades. And the reason why all these other automation services are moving over to Facebook is because and I'm just going to be honest with you. And some of them may not, but the people who are really pushing 2 services, it's because you're not getting results, or something's going on with your service where, like, why? I could easily go do Amazon again. I have the connections, resources, money. I have everything. I could go do Amazon again. But this Facebook service is going so fucking well. Why in the hell am I going to go and try and start something else?
Right.
Why? We're doing $250,000 a month in revenue in this service. Why in the absolute hell? And that's just like, that's just the beginning. Why would I go somewhere else? Something's got to be going on. So be very careful when you look at services. If they're trying to spread themselves thin, Amazon automation, Walmart automation, Facebook automation, trucking automation, YouTube automation, these like conglomerates, like, bro, like that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's huge. And we are the only one who offers a money back guarantee. If you're going into an automation service and they don't offer a money back guarantee, that's weird. Why? Why are you not confident that you can make me my money back?
Yeah, that's the exact question that everybody has. If you don't have a money back guarantee,
why?
Exactly. If
Why
you
not?
say you can get results, if you say you can really get what the customer needs in terms of profit, you should definitely have that in your actual contract. And that's what's important. So not people just telling you we guarantee the results, to actually have it in writing is what's actually huge.
Yes. Yeah. It's section 13 of the contract. It's there. Yeah. And every client we put the client first, man. I can't say it any other way. Like, we built that contract. I had my lawyer write that contract up, and we took out a lot of things where essentially the only way we can terminate the partnership and the contract with the client is if you're harassing, just trying to micromanage, you know what I mean? Like those types of things. That's the only way we can terminate your contract. Other than that, you can't. Now, I will say month 1 through 7, you are not entitled to your money back guarantee. You can't just join, then 3 months later leave. We put time, money, effort, and resources into you, and now you're just going to dip. Like, we get you a shop and then you just dip. Like, no. But months 8 through 12, of course, you are entitled to your money back guarantee. And the way it works is this: you sign up for a 50-50 deal with us, right? 50-50 split, 10K investment. Let's just say for some reason in 12 months, we only make you 18 grand in profit. Your store does. Well, it's a 50-50. So 9 and 9, right? You're going to get refunded $1,000 because you have to make your ROI. The money back guarantee is based on the money you take home, not what the store produces. That doesn't make sense. You're not taking home what the store produces. You're taking home whatever your split is of that. And be careful too. A lot of people that are, and these people are, I'm not going to lie to you, they're just marketers. You have to tell the difference between someone who's a marketer and someone who actually runs business. Or like, someone can say I'm a marketer, but I'm in the business every day. I take care of a lot of it. And I also understand the platform. Like, I know exactly how to do it. So that, I think that's the difference between a marketer and someone like myself, is like, the marketer just hands you to somebody else who's a team, and they're just a bridge. They're just the middleman. They're just the broker. They're just there to collect a check. It's not, I wouldn't consider myself a broker, you know? And so, I actually understand the business. I run it. I help Jason on a day-to-day. Sure, I don't know how to do the revenue portion of it to the point where he does, and he's so good at it. I can still do my own, but I know my strengths. I'm good at what I'm good at. And so I just help him there. And so that's what I would say when it comes to these automation services. Be very, very careful, man.
So then when somebody decides to actually go with your agency, what is their actual job? So is it completely hands off? Is it completely passive? Like, what do you actually require for somebody that actually comes on as a client?
Yeah. All you have to do is handle the onboarding. It takes usually 60 minutes max. And that's really it. So the onboarding is very simple. We walk you through how to create new accounts, new Gmails, things like that. Set up your Facebook account correctly, fill out a form for shops. And then after that, if you need anything, we're in the chat. 7 managers. We have seven managers spread across a lot of different pillars in the business, myself and Jason. And that's it really. And pay your credit card after the onboarding. It's really not much, pay your credit card, and that's really it. You don't have to do too much, man. If we need you for something, which now I've eliminated needing you for needing the client for certain things, because I've found workarounds to where it's like, we could just do it without having to ask the client, hey, can you send me this? Hey, can you give me this code? Like, I found ways around that. So now we really don't have to bother the client too much.
Right. So basically it's just, hey, obviously you have to understand that you're not going to be making those type of numbers right off the bat. It takes time for your store to grow. And every store is different. So if you take mine, for instance, I've been drop shipping on Facebook Marketplace for about 1.5 years now.
Yeah.
Never really went full time in it. I was more focused on eBay and Shopify, but I've had it up. I had reviews. So my store might take off much faster than somebody who has no marketplace, has no reviews, or something like that.
You just hit it on the nail with a hammer, my man. Yeah, you hit it on the nail with a hammer.
And that's huge. So, and then what does that communication look like? Because you see a lot of different agencies and a lot of different owners that get you into their program, and then they path you off to a manager or in
Someone they have no control over.
Exactly. And they
Yeah.
never can get back to like actually having a conversation with you or the person that actually hired them up for the service. So I guess what kind of does that look like too?
Yeah. So we sit in the WhatsApp group chat. Like I said, 7 managers, Jason and myself. The managers are very, very, very well versed in the business at this point. So like our onboarding manager can help you with anything that we need regarding certain aspects if you need help with the onboarding. Jason still is the sole communicator of the business, like the business with the clients. Like, yeah, we run 60 something client stores, and that may seem like a lot to a lot of people, but managers answer, I would say 80 to 90% of the questions. If the manager doesn't know how to answer the question, or they need help, or if they come across something that they want to just verify and run through Jason, then they'll go ahead and add Jason in the chat, and Jason will be there. You have a call that you can have every single month with Jason as well to go over your store, anything you want to know, things like that. You just book a Zoom call with him. And there will come a time where, Jason's not gonna be able to do as many of those anymore. It's going to come to a point, but Jason is very adamant about not detaching himself from the business like that. Now, we do hire all of our teammates, like all of our members. They are in the Philippines. It's a big question everybody asks, but like we do it all. Like we do all the vetting, we do all the hiring, we do all the training, we do all the control. We can know who's on every single store, and we can go in there, and we have so many things I've put into place to where we have all the control in this game. So, we don't hand you off to a service where it's like, in Bangladesh or the Philippines, they have their own company, and we just kind of pass you off to them and have no control, or we don't even know who's running your store at that point.
And then I know another question a lot of my audience has is, yes, you want to run the Facebook marketplace account essentially. Now, do you have to do that with your personal Facebook? Can you make a separate Facebook? Do you have to give all your information over to you guys? What kind of
that's a good question. Yeah. So 2 things. So we've seen that making new Facebook accounts and then getting the shipping option on those, they get deactivated relatively quickly. We just get a lot of problems. When I mean deactivated, I just mean locked out, suspended, stuff like that. And so we see a lot of problems with that. So we're straying away from doing that. But when it comes to using your own personal Facebook, we have it set up to where you don't have to share your information with us. And we will remote access and take care of it for you. And you just save all of your passwords into Google Chrome and things like that. And then we just come in and utilize it. So we don't ever get to see any of your passwords, nothing of that sorts. So that's how we really get into the Facebook account. And then when we get you a shop, it's like way easier, dude. Like shops, you just give us access permissions, and I don't even have to get into your Facebook account anymore. But no, you're not giving us any credentials for any of your, and besides like the Amazon, Walmart, eBay logins we need. Right. You don't give us your access to your Facebook account credentials. But yes, we will use your personal Facebook account. Yes.
So then when it comes to you actually running it, are you using like a VPN to run it? Because I know Facebook is always skeptical. Yes. Like if I sign in with my neighbor's computer, Facebook is going to send me a message that says, hey, we're going to block your account for 24 hours. So how exactly do you get around that? And that's really good for new people to know. These are things that you need to ask those type of services, because there are things that can catch you up on the Facebook platform. It's not perfect, just like everything, but you have to make sure that your agency is at least able to answer those type of questions.
Yeah, 100%. What I'll say is that we don't use VPNs unless we have to. So what we do is we will remote access in with other services and other like to get into your computer. So it's coming from your computer every time. We use TeamViewer. I'll just be very upfront. So that's how we log into the accounts. Why we don't need you to, we just have you save your Facebook password in the Google Save, and we're good to go. Like we don't need that, because we'll use TeamViewer. What will happen is Jason will reimburse you for the computer. So just go buy a simple computer for $400 or $500, and Jason's going to reimburse you on it upon receipt and showing that you bought it. And then we use that to do our work until we get you a shop.
Which is amazing. The fact that you can even answer those type of questions for a lot of agencies. Like I have a couple more interviews coming out with some other agency owners that I'm more or less hesitant to put out because they couldn't answer those type of questions, which makes the interview itself really hard. And you're like, oh, well, I don't really know how we would get in there, but we'll still make sure.
Oh man, no. So, yeah. And we have a suspensions report and things like that our suspensions manager handles. And like, I see it every day. We get it in our WhatsApp chat for all our managers. And like, ever since we started using TeamViewer, the rate of lockouts and suspicious activity suspensions has gone down tremendously. Like I tell qualification calls all the time, it doesn't eliminate it, but it mitigates it heavily. Yeah, like we do have some clients who still want to use TeamViewer or VPNs, which is fine, to each their own. We just make sure they understand, like, hey, listen, you are at a higher risk for continuous, suspicious activity suspensions and things like that. Are you sure? At the end of the day, it's their decision. You know what I mean? We just want you to know and be transparent. Like, this is what's going to happen. Potentially, we see it. It's a trend. It's going to happen. Are you cool with it? Are you sure? We'll reimburse you for the laptop. Just go buy the laptop. Our onboarding manager will tell you what specs to look for. Get it, and we'll reimburse you on it.
Which makes it really simple. But yeah, man, I thank you so much for just jumping on and kind of answering those questions. But let everybody know, like, where can they find you? Easiest place to contact you at. And I'll also have all these links in the description so you guys can actually get to them. But what's the easiest way to contact you and learn more and things like that?
Yeah. So you can find me on YouTube over at E-commerce University. That's where I put out all the content. For my Instagram, it's Andrew__Giorgi. And yeah, that's pretty much only places I live. Twitter, I'm on Twitter every time, Andrew Giorgi with 2 I's at the end. But yeah, other than that, the E-commerce University channel is where you're going to find me the most. I've got 17 plus testimonials, 3 to 4 client interviews with more coming out. That's where you're going to find all of like the real testimonials. Like, you're going to find a lot of client results there, and like, you're going to hear from clients that join our service, and there's some really good stuff there. They have a lot of good things to say. So I would encourage you, go and check all that content out. And then if you wanted to book a qualification call with us and see if you fit, this is a good fit for you, on my YouTube channel, in the description, there's a Linktree link, and the first choice is Facebook automation qualification call. You can book a call and see if you're a good fit.
Awesome, man. And just put it out there, so I'm not currently a client. I'm not working with the service. This is just kind of an introductory in terms of like an interview, telling the process, what their agency does, what makes them a little bit different than other agencies that are in the industry itself. Hopefully we'll have you back on, maybe
That'd be
to
awesome.
update in terms of how your agency's growing, client success stories and stuff like that. And then, if I do decide to come on as a client, definitely want to have you on, kind of walk you through, my store, what that kind of looks like, so people get a better in-depth understanding about what that looks like to you. So
yeah, I would love that, man. If you want to collab on anything else as well, as far as like, you want to make videos based around like Walmart versus Facebook, Amazon versus Facebook, I'd love to come in and help you out there. And that'd be just great collaborations and great value that we can provide at the end of the day, man. So look forward to that. And thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
you're very welcome, man. Have a good one, buddy.
You too.